Hello and welcome back to Half Magic Tarot. Today's pick-a-card reading is Love Advice from the Universe. There are 4 piles to choose from. I suggest selecting the pile that sparks a memory in you. So for example, I would choose pile 1, the Silver Waterfall, because this waterfall reminds me of a waterfall that I visited in Singapore with my mom last year. So I will put the timestamps in the description down below. Feel free to pause the video now to select your pile, and let's begin. If you selected pile 1, the Silver Waterfall, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the 4 of Swords, the Hermit, the Page of Cups, the 6 of Cups, and the 9 of Swords. For your Romance Angels cards, we got Attraction and Give Your Relationship a Chance. Okay, my pile ones, so what is your love advice from the universe? So for 99% of you, I will say that you have been single for a long time. And that's coming through in this first card in your spread, this 4 of Swords, which is all about taking a break from something. It's about removing yourself from the battle. And I think in this case, it's a battlefield of dating, of having to, sift through the frogs to find your prince or princess or gender neutral term for that, whatever, whatever you're looking for. But if you look at the depiction on this card, this person on the card is on the moon by themselves, kind of staring wistfully at the earth. So even though you have intentionally removed yourself from the dating scene, or you have not really actively participated, there's still this really wistful longing to be able to find love, to be able to find that connection in your romantic life. And the next card in your spread just doubles down on that. We have the Hermit, which is all about solitude. And a lot of times it's self-imposed solitude. And the Hermit is not a bad card. Sometimes the Hermit is necessary. It's necessary to enter your Hermit energy in order to figure out who you are by yourself and kind of reach a new level of personal enlightenment and spiritual understanding and things like that. I think that for a lot of you, being alone or being single for a while has made you really reflect on the kind of relationship that you want and learn a lot about yourself and be comfortable being alone. But there's this double-sided coin here where I feel like with this 4 of Swords and this Hermit combined, people perceive you as being very independent or someone who doesn't need a romantic relationship or something like that. But in actuality, you really long for it, and you have this fear that you're going to grow old and be alone forever. And that doesn't have to be the case. In the middle of your spread, we have the Page of Cups, which is truly the advice that's coming through here, is to embody this Page of Cups energy and open yourself up to romantic possibilities, and don't let your fear and anxiety get in the way. Because I do think that for 99% of you, this is really a mental thing for you. And I understand, like I said, I would choose this pile. Actually, it kind of sounds like a personal call out for myself, unfortunately. And I recently realized that I have a fearful, avoidant attachment style. So basically, I'll get a little personal. I've been single for a while, and I don't have anyone that I want to date necessarily. But I do want to be in love one day. But then I also have this fear that if someone were to try to invest in me, try to form that kind of connection with me, I think I would just be terrified of their intentions. I don't think I would trust them. And also I would just have so much anxiety about the change, the transition from being alone, which I've learned to be comfortable with, to having to open yourself up to another person. And I feel like probably a lot of you that are watching this relate to that. So with this Page of Cups, it's really telling you that you need to open yourself up to the possibilities of romance and kind of take a more lighthearted approach to people. I think there's this need to stop assuming other people's perceptions of you, or stop assuming what their intentions are without them first showing you. You really have this barricade around you is what I'm hearing. And you have to, unfortunately, you have to display some emotional vulnerability to, you have to endure the terrifying ordeal of being known in order to be loved. So again, I really think the issue here has a lot to do with your own, your mental perception of things, and that is really echoed by this Six of Cups. And the Six of Cups is a card of nostalgia, looking back on the past. But in this particular card, this person is looking over like a makeshift grave. So I think you think a lot about your past in terms of romance. Maybe you've been rejected, or you had a really bad heartbreak, or you just feel generally unlovable and you feel like you've had experiences that kind of validate that belief in yourself. So it's harder for you to move past that and look forward because you feel like you already have all the evidence that it's not going to work out. And why would you put yourself in a place where you can just like re-experience those things that were really emotionally painful for you? And that's also echoed in the Nine of Swords at the end of your spread, which is a card of anxiety and grief. And it's also a card of, I think this is something that really bothers you, like late at night when you're alone in bed. This is when you really think about it and you get upset about it. And I fully understand. The universe is telling you this is all in your mind. Maybe not the past rejections. You're entitled to claim those experiences and have, negative emotional feelings about them, but you're holding on to this fear that everyone's going to be the same, or everyone's going to continue to hurt you or invalidate you or make you feel small, and that is just not conducive to having the kind of relationship that you want. And that's all echoed in this pile marker that you chose too, the Silver Waterfall, which is all about opening yourself up to the beauty of things, including dating, things like that, including conversation with new people, including trying to find love, the ups and downs of love, without kind of barricading yourself against the potential for hurt. Because if you are completely stonewalling people, no one's gonna try to come over. And actually, I wanted to read for you guys a sentence from the booklet for this oracle deck specifically, because I really felt like this kind of summarized the whole vibe of this file. So, to feel truly lovable and abundant, you need to be able to engage with whoever and whatever comes to you without feeling like you need some form of defense. And I know that's really difficult. Maybe we should go to therapy, babes. Maybe we should all go to therapy. So for your first Romance Angels card, we got Attraction, which says you attract romantic love by enjoying this moment fully. So again, living in the present, not being so caught up in your mind and about, your expectations, your anticipation of someone hurting you or turning you down or making you feel bad or feeling like you don't deserve love or you're unworthy of love. Because once you get rid of that mindset and you kind of let those anxieties go, you're more likely to be present and be open to the possibility of someone approaching you or someone wanting to be with you. Because right now your energy is just super closed off. But in actuality, if you were to open yourself up, you would be attracting the person. Which is why your second Romance Angels card says give your relationship a chance, work on your partnership. So again, maybe you can give people a chance. I have this problem. I've been asked out by people that I found very attractive and there was nothing wrong with them. I thought they were very polite, but then I ended up turning them down or rejecting them because I just felt like terrified by the prospect because again, very fearful, avoidant. That's the vibes of this. So maybe you have that issue where you feel like maybe you have a crush on someone, but you can't bring yourself to really pursue it because you're scared of rejection. You're afraid of a negative outcome. You're afraid of repeating past, romantic things that were bad for you. And You really just got to embody this Page of Cups energy and open yourself up and take the risk. I'm sorry to say, everyone. All right, my pile ones, that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 2, Abundance, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the King of Pentacles, Justice, the Four of Cups, the Page of Pentacles, and the Two of Swords. For your Romance Angels cards, we got Deception, and it is safe for you to love. Okay, my pile 2, so what is your love advice from the universe? I want to start off talking about this Page of Pentacles, the 4th card in your spread, because I think that this represents you. For a lot of you, you could be earth signs or have a prominent earth placement in your natal chart, so Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus, and that would be Taurus, Capricorn, or Virgo, but most strongly I am getting Taurus in this. So for a lot of you, I think that probably you have not had that many relationships in the past, and you feel like you're constantly working on yourself in order to kind of have the relationship that you want. But I think a lot of you have this idea in your head that if you were to get in a relationship, it would like magically solve these things about yourself. I feel like for a lot of you, you might struggle with low self-esteem. You might have depression or anxiety. You might feel like you're not worthy of love. You might have trust issues. You might be insecure when it comes to romance. You might just feel a little naive. Whatever the case may be, I feel like there is a level of insecurity here, a feeling of not being prepared that a lot of people in this pile have. And you think, if I meet someone and they love me, then they can just, like solve these things within myself, like with their help, I'll blossom and I'll bloom. And the thing is, a lot of the times, romantic relationships are these vehicles for us to discover new things about ourselves and strengthen our relationships with ourselves and strengthen our communication skills and realize the ways that we want to be loved and how we love other people and things like that. But it's not going to magically solve your problems. If you have issues regarding insecurity, going into a relationship where someone maybe reassures you that they like this thing about you. Like, for example, if you have body image issues, this is just an example, and you go into a relationship with it and someone likes you and they say that they like you, but you still have your body image issues. If you perceive them to do something that to you like reinforces the idea that maybe they secretly don't like the things about your body that you don't like, then you will just kind of, not trust them in that capacity. Like, I don't think them reassuring you will make you fully believe it until you kind of develop a more positive self-concept about yourself. So what I'm getting at anyway is that for a lot of you, you're this Page of Pentacles. You're someone who has a lot of love to give and you want to have a stable, loving relationship with someone. And ultimately, you think that a romantic relationship will transform you from this Page of Pentacles to this King of Pentacles. You think you will grow a lot as a person and you'll feel so much more secure and so much more happy, because right now at this Page of Pentacles, the two cards surrounding you are this Four of Cups and the Two of Swords. So you feel stuck in between these two modes, and the Four of Cups is a card of feeling bored, of feeling unappreciative of the things around you. And if you look closely at this card, this person on this card has a bunch of beautiful things around them, but they seem bored, they seem dissatisfied. So for you, you might feel bored with other areas of your life right now besides your love life. You might feel stagnant. You might feel like, I don't really like the people around me. I don't like the options that I have. If only I could just meet someone who would, make my life exciting for me. And then we also have the Two of Swords. And a lot of the times the Two of Swords in a love reading is, to me, someone who has kind of detached from their emotions in a way where they've almost like hardened their heart. And so I feel like for a lot of you, you do have these trust issues, but you kind of have like this Wattpad-esque fantasy of like, I'm like a, yeah, I just heard I'm a damaged person. I feel like maybe some of you tell yourself that, like you think that you're overly damaged and you're like, I'm difficult to love, and I just want someone to like come in and prove me wrong, basically. And that's represented by the second card in your spread, this justice, which is like justice for all of this suffering, all of this monotony, all of this, strife, all of these things that made you harden your heart, that you think will allow you to transform into this King of Pentacles, stable, loving, caring, more open, more generous, more sensual energy. But when it comes down to it, with your Romance Angels card, the first one we have is deception. Someone is wearing a false self mask in this relationship. And the key word here is self. This is your false mask. This is your incorrect assumption that someone else coming in and telling you, that these great things about yourself is going to be the things that make you change. And listen, I'm not saying, I definitely do not believe in the phrase, like, have you ever heard that thing where someone's like, well, how can you expect anyone to love you if you don't love yourself? I don't believe in that, because loving yourself is a lot more difficult than being able to extend that love to another person. And I think everyone deserves to feel loved. So I don't really think that's a fair assessment, but I will say that it's like the saying, you can move somewhere else, but you still bring yourself. You can transition into a relationship where someone tells you all of these great things about you and they give you things to do and they spice up your life. But ultimately, if you're not comfortable with yourself, if you still have these insecurities that you haven't worked on, then that will just affect or impact your relationship negatively. So I think it's really, the universe is trying to stress to you that in order to be in the kind of relationship that you want, the relationship itself isn't the solution. It's the practice of learning how to communicate, learning how to control your reactions to things, learning how to understand your own triggers, your own insecurities, and how that impacts the way that you are socializing with other people. Because the second card from your Romance Angels deck is, it is safe for you to love. Open your heart to give and receive the highest energy of all. And to me, this is kind of the advice for this Two of Swords energy that you're in, where you're closed off, because I don't think that you trust people very well. I think you really want to. You want someone to come in and just love you so hard that it ends up opening your heart. But it's hard to love someone in a way that they will accept if they're actively, like, seemingly pushing you away or telling you that you can't possibly love them, or you don't know how to love them, or how could you love them. And I understand because I feel like I have some of these same issues, but ultimately the advice from the universe here is that you really have to confront that and figure out how to feel abundant on your own. Because, going from the Page to the King of Pentacles, that's what you want to do in a romantic relationship. This is an influx of abundance. This is, moving up, feeling more stable, feeling more sensual, feeling all of these connections. But the reality is that you need to be working on that by yourself, even before you get into a relationship and while you're in a relationship. You need to cultivate abundance in other areas of your life besides romance. You need to have things to fall back on. You need to have things outside of a relationship that will make you happy, that will open yourself up to joy and possibility. Because what happens if you get into a fight with your significant other? I feel like some people in this pile might be the kind to kind of like catastrophize when they have an inconvenience, because it's hard for you to like regulate your emotional response to things like that. So I feel like for some of you, if you got into a fight with your significant other, you just feel like the whole world's over. But I think if you work on becoming more balanced outside of your pursuit for a romantic relationship, it will be easier for you to kind of have the perspective of like, Okay, it was just a simple disagreement. I still have all these other beautiful things in my life, and I can continue to nurture my relationship and figure out a way to improve it and fix it and move along like I have with these other areas of my life. So I wanted to read you a little passage from the book regarding this abundance card, the pile marker you chose, because I think that it really kind of encapsulates the kind of message that the universe wants to give you. So, loving and being loved will definitely make you feel more abundant. If you are longing to meet your soulmate, it's your willingness to appreciate, acknowledge, and accept yourself that allows you to feel more abundant and will help you manifest a partner. In a relationship, your abundance of health, friendships, and mindset will bring joy to your partnership and as well as more love. So ultimately, overall, the universe wants you to know that you can have this kind of really loving relationship that you want, but you will never feel truly satisfied or comfortable with it until you learn to be more satisfied and comfortable in the other areas of your life and when it comes to your vision of yourself. So that is something that needs to be worked on, and there are, different ways to do that. You could see a therapist, you could take up journaling, you could, just do a lot of self-reflection, do things that make you feel good in your body. If you feel like you're not having fun in your day-to-day life, just take a moment to think, what would really make me happy right this second, and go do that. It doesn't have to be anything, extravagant. You could do yoga, you could take a hot bath, you could watch a movie that you really like. I think being able to identify what makes you happy and then give that to yourself is kind of a good gateway into bringing in the kind of abundance that will ultimately attract a partner that you want. All right, my pile twos, that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 3, emotional freedom, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the Tower, the 3 of Cups, the 3 of Swords, the 5 of Pentacles, and the 10 of Wands. For your Romance Angels cards, we got Release Your Ex and Let Your Friends Help You. Okay, my pile 3, so what is your love advice from the universe? We start off your spread with this Tower, so immediately I'm hearing that you have had a past relationship, or it could be a relationship that you are still clinging on to. I'm hearing for a lot of you where you really, felt like you could invest a lot in this person. You felt like you could really build upon the foundation of your relationship. And then it ended up burning down in kind of a spectacular way. Like, I feel like this is a rough breakup or a rough separation if you've gotten back together with this person, which I'm hearing some of you have, unfortunately. But just like in actuality, the way that this person presented themselves or the vision of the future that you imagined with them was not feasible because this person was not stable in the ways that you needed in order to build a solid foundation. They are just not someone who has the necessary qualities or the emotional intelligence, the level of maturity that you needed in order to build kind of a beautiful, loving, caring, reciprocal relationship with. And actually, I think this person was kind of the primary cause of this, because I'm hearing for a lot of you, it was something that this person in particular did that was really painful for you, which is why you broke up. And I think this person was pretty nonchalant about it. Like, they were definitely more upset that you were mad at them or you were upset with them about the thing that they did than they were actually about doing it. And for a lot of you, this was a third-party situation. This person cheated on you. You caught them talking to other people. You caught them, trying to get with other people, whatever that is. And that's represented by this 3 of Cups here, because the 3 of Cups sometimes in a love reading indicates to me that this person, there's a third-party situation. They're looking outside of the relationship. And also, this person could have had a friend where you were like, what's the deal with you two? And they were like, don't worry, we're just friends. But in actuality, that they had some kind of like past together and they were still talking to this person. This person even could be like, oh, I'm still really close friends with my ex. And I think that made you uncomfortable, but you were like, choosing to trust them, but then they did something that made you realize, oh no, there's still like feelings here. Like you two are still holding on to each other because you don't want to. I think the person that you were dating in particular did not want to sacrifice the attention or like having the option of having that person there because they wanted to have options. They weren't like satisfied with just you, and that's not a reflection of you. It's just that this person is just not really like emotionally intelligent enough to be aware of what they have in front of them, of how their actions are impacting other people emotionally, and they don't care. So this person just combative. They might have actually even like blamed you or gotten mad at you. Like if you had, like, let's say that you went through their phone or something and you saw that they were cheating on you or trying to cheat on you, and you confronted them about it, they'd be like, well, you don't trust me. Why are you going through my phone? Like that kind of thing. Like this person definitely liked to turn it back around on you. And that's why in the middle of your spread, we have this 3 of Swords, which is just the card of like heartbreak. And it's in the very middle of your spread. So I think for most of you, this is just the energy that you are embodying right now. And I think even for some of you, like I said, I feel like a small percentage of you got back together with this person after this, but you still feel heartbroken. You still feel like, I can't really trust this person. And it's impacting you because you want to go back to the way that things were before this incident occurred, but it's hard for you to move on mentally because it's always kind of like there in the back of your mind. Now, if you have, stopped seeing this person or you've stopped communication with this person, I still think that this is affecting you, and it's made it really difficult for you to trust other romantic prospects. And that's kind of the thing that has been holding you back, and that's what the universe is saying. And something special about this 3 of Swords card is that in this particular depiction, the 3 women depicted on this are the fates. So they represent the past, present, and future. So there's this feeling here, this feeling of heartbreak, this feeling of betrayal, of being stabbed in the back, of stabbed in the heart, is something that will continue to happen in your romantic relationships. There's this fear that you won't be able to escape it, or I think for some of you, you kind of have this mindset of like, well, I really trusted this person and they did this to me, so what's to stop, every other person that I think is going to treat me well from doing this to me? I might as well just accept it because it's not like I can avoid it. I feel like some of you are at that point where you're so broken down, you're like, well, there's nothing I can do about it, so I might as well just like settle. And I don't think you need to do that. I think that is your fear of, one, letting this person go and kind of sacrificing all of the effort that you initially put into this relationship, because it can be really difficult if you've invested a lot of time and energy into something or someone to take a step back and say, I've made a mistake, I've wasted my own time, because then you are the one who comes across feeling foolish. But I don't think you should feel foolish, because ultimately, all these lessons in love are really there to help you learn and grow and be prepared to recognize the things that you will or will not accept to lead you to the right person for you. So next in your spread, we have the 5 of Pentacles, and I'm getting 2 messages for this. The first is that 5 of Pentacles is all about poverty, and this is specifically poverty in love, feeling like you will never get exactly what you want and that you might have to settle and just accept that. If you look at this card, this person has a dinner plate and it has this really small piece of bread on there, and you're like, well, maybe I'll just accept the breadcrumbs. Actually, I think this, for a lot of you, this particular person, this ex, is someone who might still be breadcrumbing you, like they still text you or they still want to see you like every few weeks, but they don't actually want to give you like an apology. They don't want to make it up to you. They just want to have you like on the leash, basically, on the line. And I think that some of you are kind of playing into this. You're allowing this to happen. But ultimately you feel like, will I ever meet someone who really nourishes me and gives me the kind of relationship that I want? Because right now I just feel like everyone's just offering me breadcrumbs, and I'm supposed to be grateful. I'm supposed to be grateful because I'm not going to like die of starvation, but I'm still hungry. Like, I'm still hungry. And I just don't think that. I think accepting less than what you want just makes other people think that you like deserve less. Like, they're like, okay, well, I can get away with not giving her the things that she needs. It makes them disregard your own feelings and the things that are necessary in order to make a relationship work with not just you, but other people. But the second message that I'm getting for the Five of Pentacles is that sometimes in a love reading, the Five of Pentacles represents finding someone who will stick with you through thick and thin and who will, be there for you even if you like these trust issues come out or you just feel insecure, whatever the situation is. Because I feel like for a small percentage of you, if this person from the past cheated on you, they told you that it was because like, oh, well, you were like going through something. Like, maybe some of you struggle with your mental health, and I think maybe your ex was like, well, I only cheated on you because you were like depressed, like you weren't fun to be around anymore. And I think that was really emotionally painful for you. Again, that's just a small percentage, but there's this real desire on your end to find someone who will be with you even in the rough times and not make you feel like you're in danger of them betraying you or making you feel bad because you're not this like caricature of what they want. Because I think this is kind of a common issue in some relationships where some people, especially people who are not especially emotionally intelligent or not mature enough for a relationship, they want the person that they're with to be like the caricature of their ideal partner. And then when that person is like, actually, I get sad sometimes, or I need help with this thing, or I get insecure sometimes, then the person is like, oh, that's a turnoff because I just liked you when you were like, obsessed with me and all we did was like hang out and have fun together. Like, I'm not really here for any of the actual work that has to go in a relationship. And I feel like that's kind of what your ex did to you. And that is, feeling that you have of like, well, I ever find a person who does give me that, because right now I just feel like it's not possible. And then at the end of your spread, we have 10 of Wands. And I'm also getting two messages for this. The first is that you feel like you have invested a lot with this person in the past. So it could have even been someone that you were in a relationship with for a long time, and then you found out about this betrayal, or they did something that was just kind of really like not cool and kind of showed you the side of themselves that you were unaware of. And because you have already kind of invested so much time and energy and care into this relationship, it's hard for you to leave it because you almost feel like you've failed at something. Like you feel like I'm so close to the finish line. If only I could just carry the rest of this burden, basically. But the second message that I'm getting is that this is almost over. Like you can make it there. It's really difficult, but the end is in sight of you to release this person and kind of dust yourself off and reach this new playing field when it comes to romance, where you can find someone who doesn't, weigh you down. Like, you have people around you who want to help you in this transition and who want to see you be in a happy, thriving relationship. And sometimes with the 10 of Wands, there's this feeling of having burdened yourself. Like, you have chosen this responsibility, you've taken it on, but in actuality, like, no one's forcing you to stay like this or to feel chained to this person. Like, you have the freedom and the strength to get away from this. It's ultimately about you picking yourself up and moving on. But I think that's difficult for a lot of you because you do still feel really tied to this person. And that's why your first Romance Angels card is release your ex. The time has come to clear your energy. Pretty self-explanatory. Even if you're not still seeing this ex or still talking to them, the energy of what happened in this relationship is still really impacting your level of trust when it comes to romantic prospects. And because of that, you're kind of shutting people down or you're closed off. And that's just not a really great way to approach love. And your second Romance Angels card says, let your friends help you. Ask for and accept support from others. So I think for some of you, you have kind of kept this to yourself and you've been suffering alone. And I think kind of being really in your head about it is making it feel a lot worse than it actually is. And I think if you take time to really cherish the other relationships in your life that you have, especially with your friends with this Three of Cups here, because the Three of Cups can also really be about celebrating things with your friend and taking the time to appreciate your friendships. So I feel like for some of you, part of the reason why you feel so entrenched and so upset, so sad, so anxious, so depressed about this breakup is because the sense of betrayal that's lingering here is something that you feel like is permeating your other relationships. But in actuality, you have a lot of friends who are loyal to you and who would not do these things to you that your ex did. They would not betray you in this kind of way. You have people that really love you and support you. And I think allowing yourself to be around them and kind of, if you need a day to just have them over and, like eat a tub of ice cream, drink a bottle of wine, and just like let them listen to you complain about it for a night, I think that's a good idea, because I think that taking time to nurture your other relationships and remember that you have people who are loyal to you, who care about you and your well-being and are not breadcrumbing you, who want the best for you, will really make you kind of reevaluate. Because something that I think a lot of people kind of neglect when it comes to romantic prospects is the idea of, if one of my best friends is being treated this way by one of their romantic partners, what would I say? Would you tell them to tolerate it? Would you tell them that they're being crazy or this is what they deserve? Or would you say that their person isn't treating them well, they deserve better, they should move on and look towards someone that will treat them well? Would you let someone talk to your friend like that? And that extends not just for romantic partners, but for yourself, because I feel like for some of you, you have almost put self-blame for what happened with your ex. And so would you let your friends sit there and be like, I'm messed up, I'm unlovable, I'm damaged, whatever it is? Would you let your best friend sit there and say that because someone else treated them poorly? No. No. So I think you need to extend that same kind of kindness to yourself. And I think spending time with your friends will help you kind of rejuvenate your approach to romance. And also I'm hearing a message that for some of you, if you are single or you're ready to move on from your ex, that you could meet your next romantic partner through your friends. So like an acquaintance of one of them, friend of a friend, meet them at a party. You could go out with your friends somewhere and meet this person. So again, spending time with your friends. So for your true love reading card, we got emotional freedom. And I'm just going to read to you what it says in the book about this, a little passage, because I think that this encapsulates this better than I would. So you have drawn this card today because deep down you still believe or fear that being in a loving relationship will compromise your personal autonomy and emotional freedom. No matter how much you desire love and commitment on the one hand, there's a part of you that holds back because of this old feeling. So I think this is not about a loving relationship. I think this is a feeling of, I thought I had what I thought was a loving relationship, and it ended up making me feel bad about myself. It made me feel small. It made me feel emotionally chained to this person or emotionally damaged, and I don't want to keep experiencing that. I don't want that to be my future as represented in this Three of Swords card, because that's really your fear here. And the universe wants you to know that that's not the case, and that you can have the kind of relationship that you want despite all this pain and grief and struggle that you've been through. And the way to kind of facilitate that is to start speaking to yourself as if you were speaking to a friend, and also spend time with your friends recovering from this thing that you went through with your ex. And also stop talking to your ex. If you're still talking with your ex, block their number, okay? This person is no good for you. This person, they're not helping you in any way. You hanging on to this person and having them taking up space in your life is removing space for someone who will actually treat you well. Okay. All right, my pile threes, that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care. If you selected pile 4, sexuality, welcome to your reading. Your tarot cards are the 8 of Cups, the Chariot, the 8 of Pentacles, the 4 of Pentacles, and the Devil. For your romance angels cards, we got calling in your soulmate and children. All right, my pile 4s, so what is your love advice from the universe? We start off your spread with this 8 of Cups, and immediately I'm hearing that for a lot of you, you feel like you are the one who's being left a lot. The vibe that I get from this pile is that for a large percentage of you, you maybe have kind of like a lot of flings or a lot of false starts in relationships. I'm getting the sense that a lot of people watching this pile are on like dating apps, and maybe you go on dates and you meet someone and you like them and you hang out a few times, and then they end up just kind of like leaving you, or they want to date other people, or they just kind of play with your emotions in a way. And this is honestly a very like sexual, sensual pile, and I'm feeling like for some of you in particular, you have been maybe having like sex with these people, and you wanted to do it at the time, but I think it was less about you really feeling like the physical desire to, or the desire to have that connection with someone, and more about wanting to make them like you. Like, I feel like some of you have been using your sexuality in a way that is designed to try to make people stay, and then ultimately you end up feeling like used in a way. This could also be something that you've experienced in the past, and maybe you're trying to like disconnect from that. Like I said, that's a select message though. I just feel like for most of you, you have had this experience in the past that's like depicted on this 8 of Cups card, of someone sailing away from you and leaving you kind of, you know, stranded by yourself, feeling sad, feeling like, I don't really know what I did that you don't want to be with me anymore. But the advice from the universe here is that the most important thing that you can do is kind of change the mindset around this. So a lot of the times when these people say, I don't want to date you anymore, I want to see other people, or I'm not interested anymore, or they ghost you, whatever, I think it's very easy to be like, there's something wrong with me. They didn't choose me, instead of being like, oh, thank them for showing me what kind of person they are, and that they're flaky and they're not going to treat me the way that I want. They stopped texting me back, which is immature. I don't want someone who is going to play with my emotions. I don't want someone who's going to be, flip-floppy about my feelings for me. I don't want someone who is going to cut off communication with me out of nowhere. That's not the kind of person I want in my life. So it's really about switching that and being like, okay, I got rid of that dud, because if they had stayed, they're still like that person in the core of them. Like, I've had experiences like this. I had this person that I had a huge crush on for a very long time, and they would, text me sometimes, and then they would completely ghost, and then sometimes they'd come back and they'd be like really flirtatious with me, and then I'd see them out with their ex. It was just kind of back and forth, and it was like, part of me really just craved their approval. I really wanted them to just be like, okay, I choose you. But in actuality, had me and that person really gotten together, like, that's still who they are. They're still flip-floppy, they're wish-washy, and ultimately they're not going to be able to give me the emotional experience that I wanted anyway. So the universe really wants you to consider that you have the ability to decide and to move forward, and that these are just experiences. It's like crossing someone off your list. Like, okay, it's not going to be that person. Because the Chariot is the next card in your spread, which is all about victory and forward movement. And this represents the energy that the universe wants you to embody. For some of you, you could be Cancers, or have a prominent Cancer placement in your natal chart, Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. But ultimately, this card, the Chariot, is about taking your emotions, because I feel like you are an emotional person and you are someone who really wants a deep emotional connection, and being able to use that as a strength in order to guide you towards something that more aligns with the kind of relationship that you want, instead of being drawn and feeling sad about these flaky people who wouldn't have given you what you wanted anyway. And that's why in the middle of your spread, we have this Eight of Pentacles. The Eight of Pentacles is all about doing something that you love, putting a lot of work into something that you love. And this is also kind of the central advice for the universe here, is really figuring out what it is that makes your ideal person. If you look at this card, in this particular card, this person is building like a human being. They're building up their ideal person in their mind, the kind of person they want to have in their life. So the universe really wants you to reflect on, what are the qualities that I do not want to compromise on? Because you need to take back your power and remember that you also have the power in all of these relationships and all of these situations and all of these, romantic sexual encounters that you have. You have the power to decide. It's not just about trying to impress this person and trying to get them to stay. I feel like a lot of the times we're so busy focused on whether or not someone else likes us or how to get them to like us, that we don't really focus on whether or not we actually like them, or we like their behaviors, or we could see ourselves having like a healthy connection with that person. And so that's a mindset. With this Eight of Pentacles here, the advice really is to focus on what exactly it is that you want from a relationship. And I feel like for a lot of you, this is something really stable. Like, you're looking to call in your soulmate. You want someone that you can start a family with. For a lot of you in particular, a lot of you might want children, because in this particular card for the Eight of Pentacles, this is a depiction of a goddess creating the human race. So it could be someone that you would think would be like a good parent, is what you really want. And historically, these people that have left you behind, who have left you sad, probably wouldn't have filled this for you, because the kind of people that leave you behind without good explanation, or who leave you to kind of pick up the emotional pieces by yourself, are not the kind of people who are responsible enough or caring enough, emotionally intelligent enough, gentle enough to be good parents, to be good long-term partners, whatever that is. So, and it does seem to me like your situation with your ideal partner is pretty sexy. I mean, we have the Four of Pentacles and the Devil rounding out your spread. These two cards together, especially in a love reading, are so possessive, and I don't think it's in like a negative way. I think this is just like, I don't want anyone else to touch you, and I don't want you to want anyone else to touch you. I don't want you to want anyone else to look at you, because I feel like for a lot of you, you have been casually dating, and maybe the people that you've been seeing have been seeing other people. Maybe you've been cheated on. Maybe you just feel like people want to play the field more than they want to commit, and you are like, no, I want like my actual soulmate. Like, I want someone that I can create a family with, and I still want to have fun with them. Like, I still want to have, that like raw sexual attraction. I still want to have a lot of chemistry. I want to have the sensuality. I want to have fun. You're like, I don't think I should have to compromise on that, because I think that some people are under the impression that you can only have like really fun, like gratifying sex in a casual environment. But I think, at least in my opinion, I think it's the opposite. I think the more that you can trust someone and be vulnerable with someone, and the more that you can experience things together, I think that makes the sexual chemistry between you two even stronger. So I think that this is something that you have to look forward to with your soulmate that you're calling in. Because I think ultimately that is really what you want, is you want someone who's all about you, and you don't have to worry about them, going elsewhere, looking elsewhere. Also, with this Devil card here, your soulmate could be a Capricorn or have a prominent Capricorn placement in their natal chart, so Sun, Moon, Rising, Venus. And also another select message that I'm getting for a few of you is that if, what I said earlier, if you're one of the people who maybe you've been trying to maintain someone's interest by having sex with them, the universe is urging you to kind of like reevaluate whether or not you actually want this person, and to not have sex with someone if you're not actually into it, because the Four of Pentacles is also about keeping something to yourself. So for some of you, it might be good for you if you take a little break from casual hookups to really realign with your own like source of desire and figure out what it is that actually makes you want to have that kind of connection with someone versus just like trying to please them or impress them or just have kind of like, I don't know, like this quick endorphin high, if that's what you're doing. And again, I don't think that's all of you. I'm just saying that if that's your experience, then this is advice from the universe. So for your first romance angels card, we got calling in your soulmate, which says your prayers, affirmations, and visualizations help bring you together. So to me, this goes exactly with the Chariot and the Eight of Pentacles, because the Chariot here is all about switching your mindset from someone who gets left or someone who can't maintain someone's interest to deciding, okay, but I get to decide, what do I want? What do I want other people to bring to me? What do I want to move forward with? And the Eight of Pentacles here is all about deciding those kind of qualities that you want in a partner. So thinking about those qualities, maybe even writing a list of the qualities that you're looking for in your soulmate and your long-term romantic partner is going to be the thing that helps draw this person to you. Your second romance angels card is children, which says your love life is being affected by children. So again, for some of you, I feel like the kind of person that you want is someone who would make a good parent, who would, be someone that you could have a family with. And that's one of the qualities that you really need to look for, because to be honest, it is rare to meet someone where you think, yeah, I could have a family with this person. Like, I think that we could co-parent. I think that this person would be like trustworthy taking care of my children. And if you already have children, like perhaps you have had children from a previous relationship, this is also something important that you need to take with you into future relationships, because sometimes it's like, well, I really like this person, but you have to consider also, will they treat my children well? So that's another thing to look into. But ultimately, I think also for this children card, if maybe the child part doesn't resonate with you, you don't want children, you don't have any children presently, then I think this is kind of coming back to the sense of playfulness and figuring out what it is that actually makes you excited to want to be with someone and want to kind of give yourself over in a really like sensual, sexual way. Like, what makes me want to be vulnerable and open and explore my body or sexual chemistry with another person. So your bile marker was sexuality, which is why this card, I've been talking a lot about sex and sexuality. I just want to read you a little passage from the book for this card. So if there is no real connection between two people in a relationship, other than a sense of obligation or fear of losing what there is, then sexual attraction may be the thing that keeps you two together, which is the specific message that I got for a few of you. So if you resonate with that, then the universe is really urging you to kind of examine that part of yourself. A natural caution and a healthy boundary of reserve will guide you when the time is right to connect yourself in a sexual union with the person you are attracted to. And I just want to say this, I am not encouraging anyone, I'm not telling anyone that you shouldn't have sex or you should feel guilty about having sex or you should only have sex with like people you're in a relationship with. I'm just saying that if you are going to be having sex and sharing your body with another person, make sure it's someone that you feel comfortable with and also that you are being safe. That's all. Sexuality blossoms in an atmosphere of trust, intimacy, love, and friendship, and will wither in an atmosphere of misunderstood feelings and needs. And that's why the universe is really urging you to be more clear about what your needs are in a relationship and also recognize the power that you have in order to establish that you will not accept less or that you need a person who you can see yourself being with long term, because I think that for the majority of you, that's what you really want here. My pile fours, that is it for your reading. Thank you for watching. Please like, comment, and subscribe. I put out a new video once a week. Thank you. Take care.